Alright, so for this video I'm going to show how I do my white armor. Had quite a few people as I've done this project, the Star Commanders, ask how I do my white. So I'm going to do a quick little tutorial. It's pretty simple. It's actually a lot easier than what most people think. I used to think it was one of the hardest things to achieve, but after figuring out this technique, it's actually like super simple. So I've got a couple models here. I've got the Anniversary Veteran Sergeant and then the Store Birthday Primaris Captain. As you see, have done a few things to both of them just to kind of have them stand out a little bit. And the Primaris Captain is actually going to be my Star Commander's Chapter Master stand-in model. So obviously I put him on a higher base and gave him the sword from Rubute, and also the Iron Halo. I kind of adjusted it and fitted it to his backpack too. So yeah, so these are the two models that I'm gonna at least have for the white part, and then I'm gonna continue the rest of the steps on just the my Chapter Master model here. So the first step I do, obviously you put your models together, and right now it may not look like, they may look like they're standard gray, but this is actually already base coated. And for that I use the Mechanicus standard gray. Oh yeah, you can see there's the price. But yeah, so I use this spray over the Corax white spray because I honestly have not had good luck with the GW Corax white. It's just, I don't know, no matter what the conditions are, it just comes out either like too thick or too grainy, or I don't know. I can't seem to figure that one out. So I've since started this, and it works I think just as well. Now, as you know, like many of the paints are transparent, so it's important that while I could base coat these in black, it wouldn't be ideal because I guess the amount of layer, or how much I'd have to put the white on, would increase, as the black would, being a very dark, strong color, would show through. All right, well, let me get the next step ready, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so for this next step, I am going to use an airbrush. Now, the paint I'm going to start off with, as you can see, here's the Uthuan Gray. And so with their air paints, you definitely have to dilute it down with the air cast thinner that they sell. But so while you may think like, well, that's a gray, it comes out a fairly decent white. So I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to go ahead and cover the parts that I want to be white, which is pretty much going to be the complete model. And yeah, let's start on that. Alright, so there he is, all done with the Uthuan Gray completed. The next step I'm going to do is start painting the other colors before I do the recessed shade. And the reason why I do that is because it kind of helps to shade all the colors together kind of at the same time, versus just normally what I would do is, like, if I had like a green, or for the darker colors, it's easier to just do the shade over the whole thing and then either do another layer over it, avoiding the recessed spots, or doing a dry brush to do that more worn look. But because the white, like, you can't really do that without changing the shade, and or having to apply another layer would take a lot of time with the white, because it is so transparent. It's not just as simple as just adding another one or two thin layers. You'd have to add quite a few. So it's easier just to, after the fact, do the shade and just the recessed parts that you want. So I'm gonna basically finish painting all the other colors on there, and then once that's complete, then I'll go into how I do the recessed shading, and then from there, then I do my edge highlights. So we'll go into the next part. Alright, so there's all the base layers and colors down. And so now the next part I'm going to do is start working on the shading. So I will show you kind of how I do that, and it's pretty simple. For these guys, I've been using the Nolan oil. You can also use like an Agrax earth shade if you want. It's kind of dependent on you. I like the Nolan oil just because it kind of keeps, I guess it looks more, kind of like more new, like newer armor, I suppose. The Agrax will kind of add a little bit more like a grime or like a mud or something, like just dirt in the shade, which can be good. Or also, I see it mostly with like white scars because the brown and the red goes, like they kind of blend well together when you put like the red accents on the armor. But yeah, so let me get that together and we'll start doing that. Okay, as you see here, I've got the shading complete, which has definitely added a whole lot of depth to it. I can try to zoom in here a little bit and get kind of a bit of a closer look there. There you go. So you can see just focused all the shading to the recessed areas, and you know, it really adds that depth to the miniature. But also, as you can see, that's still, I haven't done any of the edge highlights yet, which is the next step, but that's strictly just the Ulthuan gray. There is no other white scar or ceramite or really any other color to it. Alright, so the next, like I said, is going to be the edge highlighting. Now for my, particular for this project, I've been using ceramite white. If you want a more subtle edge highlight, I would suggest white scar and then ceramite as your fine edge highlight. But I like to go just to the ceramite for this one because I've been doing a little bit different style of highlighting and shading and everything with these guys. It's more of a it's kind of a shell shading effect. It's maybe not a shell shade as it's to its truest form, but it's kind of like a merge of just regular edge highlighting and doing a little extra highlights here and there to kind of give like the shell shade effect. So yeah, I will start working on that, and then I will get back with the look of everything. Alright, well, and here's the completed model. So it might be kind of hard to tell. I'll try to zoom in a little bit so you can see. But like I said, I just used the ceramite white to highlight the edges and kind of just clean up some of the shade in some spots. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it right there. You might be able to see a little bit of the white difference on the shoulder pad here, where it looks maybe a little bit more gray on the actual pad itself. But then closer to the gold border, you can kind of see the little bit brighter white there. But yeah, so I just kind of, let me see if I can zoom in here and you can kind of see. It's a little blurry, there you go. You can kind of see a little bit right there, like on the chest area and the abdomen. Yeah, so it's kind of like, you can kind of actually see it's a bit more gray now with that white contrast, but it's still very, very white. Oh, let me come back out. But overall, it's definitely a white, and with those highlights from further back now, like the whole model looks a lot brighter. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the white. Pretty simple. Just Mechanicus standard gray for the base coat. Then I do I use the airbrush for the Ulthuan gray, and then after I get all the other kind of details and things kind of fleshed out more, then I do edge highlight with the ceramite white. So yeah, pretty simple. Alright, until next time.